Chapter 83. Imagine the issue of marijuana has been dominating the media for the past few months. Television shows portray potheads, clandestine growers, and dealers. The tabloid press prints photos of 12-year-old girls smoking joints. Broadsheets roll out the medical arguments and illuminate the societal, even philosophical aspects of the substance. Marijuana is on everyone's lips. Good morning, everybody on BIGO and on Zoom. Hope you are all well, and it is so good to see you all again. Last week, I was told very, very last minute that I was going to an event, which was extremely hectic. It was something that I definitely want to share a lot with you about. It was a seminar that I did. It was a full 1 week intensive. It talked about health and relationships and finances and business and career and all sorts of amazing things. And it has given me a lot that I can then share back with you. So I am extremely excited about that. Arnie is saying, pleased to meet you, and it is nice to meet you as well. So I've just sent you a follow, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch with more of you. And this week has been a really good learning for me and a way to be able to really structure my life a lot better. So I've been thinking about what I can do to change my business things, this reading, to make it even better, more interactive, and do lots of other things. But today we are going to get back into it. So the idea was always to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad for you. And I only have the Chinese version, which is completely fine. I am learning Chinese, but you probably are not. Some of you may speak Chinese, but I'd say most of you don't. So I'm going to read another chapter of The Art of Thinking Clearly. For any of those of you who missed me, here's your chance to catch up and feel the vibes of The Art of Thinking Clearly again and my reading. And I am very excited and I'm very happy to have you here today. We have read quite a lot of this book. We're up to chapter 83, How Eye-Catching Details Render Us Blind, the Salience Effect. So let's get into it. I know that you all have your goals to achieve, especially me at the moment. So I did a 7-year plan at this seminar, and I'm very clear on what I want to get done today in order to be able to make sure that I get that 7-year plan done. So every day, small little steps towards those goals. Let's read chapter 83, and then I'm going to give you some information on how we can stay in touch, because I'd like to know what we can do to improve this reading series, what you'd like to know, and what I can do to support you even more. But let's get into it. We have goals to achieve. It is Monday. It is time to hit the ground running today. Okay, here we go. Chapter 83. Imagine the issue of marijuana has been dominating the media for the past few months. Television shows portray potheads, clandestine growers, and dealers. The tabloid press prints photos of 12-year-old girls smoking joints. Broadsheets roll out the medical arguments and illuminate the societal, even philosophical aspects of the substance. Marijuana is on everyone's lips. Let's assume that's a bit of a euphemism. Let's assume for a moment that smoking does not affect driving in any way. Just as anyone can wind up in an accident, a driver with a joint is also involved in a crash every now and then. Purely coincidentally. Kurt is a local journalist. One evening, he happens to drive past the scene of an accident. Car is wrapped around a tree trunk. Since Kurt has a very good relationship with the local police, he learns that they found marijuana in the backseat of the car. He hurries back to the newsroom and writes this headline: Marijuana kills yet another motorist. As stated above, we are assuming that the statistical relationship between marijuana and car accidents is 0. Thus, Kurt's headline is unfounded. He has fallen victim to the salience effect. Salience refers to a prominent feature, a standard attribute, a particularly something that catches your eye. The salience effect ensures that outstanding features receive much more attention than they deserve. Since marijuana is the salient feature of this accident, Kurt believes that it is responsible for the crash. A few years later, Kurt moves into business journalism. One of the largest companies in the world has just announced that it's promoting a woman to CEO. This is big news. Kurt snaps open his laptop and begins to write his commentary. The woman in question, he typed, got the post simply because she is female. In truth, the promotion probably had nothing to do with gender, especially since men fill most top positions. If it was so important to have women as leaders, other companies would have acted by now. But in this news story, gender is a salient feature, and thus it earns undue weight. Interestingly, I'm going to quickly let you know that I am personally a believer that women are better at business than men. And it comes from the fact that we men are hunter-gatherers and we are focused on just one thing, but we always want to find a way to do things better. Whereas women will take a system and follow that system, and that allows them to be so much more successful. There's a really interesting video that I watched on the stock market, and it was a reality TV show. There was a hedge fund manager who gave, I think it was 15 people, the task of learning how to day trade and place trades, and he taught them how to do it and wanted to see which one of them would have the best results, and he gave that person $1 million to start trading with of his own money. And the men were always seeing if they could improve on the system, or they were not doing anything at all, or they were complaining about things. It was very interesting to watch. The person who won was a woman who just sat back and followed the strategy. So she was very quiet. The camera wasn't following her very much because she didn't seem to be really doing anything. It was the men who were making all the commotion. And yet she was just following the system. And she was making more than all the men. The men were losing money. They were making money, but then losing it again. It was a big mess. So it's very interesting that you can, and this is probably a very good one for the business owners amongst you, is have a woman on the team who is going to keep you to the strategy that you've set yourself. Men deviate. We love to see if we can beat the S&P. We want to be able to beat the stock market. We want to outperform, and we will be willing to lose in order to do that very often. We're generalizing a little bit, obviously, but a woman generally is going to be following the plan. So if you can get them to hold you accountable, they will make sure that you follow the plan that you set yourself. Not only journalists fall prey to the Salience Effect. We all do. Two men rob a bank and are arrested shortly after. It transpires that they are Nigerian. Although no ethnic group is responsible for a disproportionate number of bank robberies, this salient fact distorts our thinking. Lawless immigrants at it again, we think. If an Armenian commits rape, it is attributed to the Armenians, rather than other factors that also exist among Americans. Thus, prejudices form. That was the vast majority of immigrants. That the vast majority of immigrants live lawful lives is easily forgotten. There are so many that do not commit crimes, but we forget that when the newspapers and the media pushes this idea that it's a certain group that have done something. We always recall the undesirable exceptions. They are particularly salient. Therefore, whenever immigrants are involved, it is the striking negative incidents that come to mind first. The Salience Effect influences not only how we interpret the past, but also how we imagine the future. Daniel Kahneman and his fellow researcher Amos Tversky found that we place unwarranted emphasis on salient information when we are forecasting. This explains why investors are more sensitive to sensational news, for example, the dismissal of a CEO, than they are to less striking information, such as the long-term growth of a company's profits. Even professional analysts cannot always evade the Salience Effect. This is one of the reasons why I don't look at the news as much and focus more when I'm investing on just the company's numbers, because that will tell you most of it. And yes, you do have to keep some news in mind because, yes, it will have an effect, but you don't want to place too much emphasis on it. And a thank you to !lightning bolt, who just said that you are my new fan. So appreciate that. And we will continue the reading in whatever form it starts to take at 8 o'clock Sydney time, which is 9 minutes ago, whatever time it is in your time zone. Okay, in conclusion, salient information has an undue influence on how you think and act. We tend to neglect hidden, slow-to-develop, discrete factors. Do not be blinded by irregularities. A book with an unusual fire engine red jacket makes it onto the bestseller list. Your first instinct is to attribute the success of the book to the memorable cover. Don't. Gather enough mental energy to fight against seemingly obvious explanations. And I think that sums it up very well. there are things, and there have been other chapters in the book as well, where we have realized that our brain will automatically react to certain things, and we need to take a step back from that. And the more we know the different pitfalls that we fall into in the strategies that are discussed in The Art of Thinking Clearly, the more we are going to be in control of them. So when it comes to business, when it comes to the stock market, when it comes to your real estate investing, the thing that we want to look out for is what information is coming towards us, how we use that information. Maybe we can have a chat to other people in order to be able to get their opinions and ask them to separate for us if they are doing something different to us and they are not as mentally involved, or not as, if they're not actually a part of, if they're not a real estate investor or not an investment person, then they can look at the information with a less biased view. And that is one way of overcoming this salience effect. And then they can help us to really analyze it without looking at the sensationalism. So that has been our first reading back, and it is so good to see you all, and I appreciate you being here, and it is so much fun reading for you. And thank you for being so understanding. I wasn't sure how to let you all know on BIGO that things had been a little bit hectic with the seminar that I was able to find out that I was able to attend very, very last minute, which made the routine a little bit more challenging. So I'll make sure that we start pre-recording some of these so that there is always going to be one available for you on the YouTube channel. So speaking of the YouTube channel, you can watch all of the chapters that I've read up until this point from The Art of Thinking Clearly with my commentary on the YouTube channel, The Passive Cash Flow Club. So I'd love to see you there. Make sure you subscribe and like the videos that you see. And you can also leave your comments and let me know your thoughts. And I love hearing your thoughts on the YouTube channel. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit more, and I would certainly love to get to know you. If you are a fan of this BIGO, you can also join us on Zoom, and you can also follow me on Instagram, see what I'm up to or what I'm all about, and that is going to be business_team_the number 6_official, and you will find me there. You can then also send me a personalized message, and I would be very happy to get in touch and get to know you. And yes, we do this every morning at 8 a.m. And I will put some fail safes in now that we found a weak link in the chain with regards to me suddenly being pulled away to a seminar last week. So we will work on fixing those, because in life we have to always look for ways to improve. And that is what we're going to do. So I would really, really like to get you to send me a personalized message on Instagram and have a chat to you so that I can find out what kind of things interest you, what you'd like me to be reading, what you would like to be able to learn about. And that is what we will start doing on this live stream reading. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning. Have an amazing day. Join us at the Passive Cash Flow Club on YouTube and follow me on Instagram, business_team_the number 6_official. Have an amazing day. Go out and achieve some small steps towards your goals so that by the end of the week, you have a very happy feeling about what you've achieved. Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining and see you soon.